All right, time for Jake the Vet here on this Tuesday. Guide dogs giving independence to the blind or sight impaired. Our Jake the Vet went to downtown Boston to meet with a group that provides guide dogs. Fidelco Guide Dog Foundation sat down with a couple of their trainers, working with dogs, getting them ready for the task at hand. Let's bring in Jake and talk about this. But first, before we do that, let's have a look at exactly what it takes to get a guide dog ready to go and help some people.
It crosses into the threshold of visual disability. Not necessarily complete blindness, but legally blind. Fidelco's mission is to provide independence for the blind community by providing the highest quality guide dog that is around. Some of our most recent proud placements are 3 veterans that were wounded and blinded in Iraq while dismantling IEDs. The need for Fidelco guide dogs is increasing every single year.
Are all of your guide dogs German Shepherds?
Yes, Fidelco breeds and raises our own German Shepherds.
And what is it about these Shepherds that you find to be the most conducive to this kind of training?
German Shepherds have a really great work ethic. They have a really good stamina for guide dog work and also police work and search and rescue work.
The first stage really is about socializing the dog, getting it to obey command. The second stage is getting the dog to do that in a busier area with a little bit more congestion. The third and final stage is where the trainers will bring the dogs to the streets of Boston and New York City, where they learn to train indoors as well as ride the elevators and ride the T's and the subways, and then they will take their third and final test to be placed.
We have an extensive program where we match each dog with a client. Some dogs are better in the city than they are in the rural environment, and some are better in a rural environment.
Lillian came to us decades ago. She is a graduate of the Perkins School for the Blind. This is actually Lillian's 4th dog. Now she's on Lucy. Each of our dogs work 10 years or more. That's not a regular German Shepherd. These German Shepherds come from long working lines of Bavarian stock. And they're bred for their health, their temperament, and their stamina.
Were you blind at birth or did you become blind?
I was blind at birth, but I had some usable vision up until I was 18. So I've never been fully sighted.
At what point did you feel that a guide dog was going to make a huge difference in your life?
It was something I wanted to do. I had taken some cane mobility classes, but I knew I just wanted to work with a guide dog.
She is a remarkable woman. She now sits on our board of directors. She gives talks to schools and is an advocate.
Have you ever had any instances where you felt that Lucy or one of your other dogs saved your life, or there was a moment of danger where you weren't absolutely sure it was going to come out okay?
I've never really had any close calls with my dogs. I just feel that the minute I step out from home, that I'm good to go and that they're focused, and it's just the most wonderful feeling, again, that independence.
How does Lucy communicate to you when she anticipates that something is going to present a danger to you?
She's a very intuitive type of dog. She will just kind of put her head up and maybe hit me with her nose to warn me that something is near us. I put my trust in her, my 100% trust.
This is kind of your replacement child at the same time as being your protector?
To be honest with you, I think of them as my daughters.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is home.
All right, great piece there, Jake. Bring in Jake the Vet here and talk about this organization. I think, one of the most important things here, this is independent, this is nonprofit. How did these folks raise their money?
Through donations and support from the community, and community represents the whole country. So this spot is essentially reaching out to people as well, and anywhere they appear, they're looking for support. And it's a wonderful organization. I mean, these people really work hard to train these dogs to do their jobs.
How long does it take for the typical training session? I mean, I imagine it takes years, does it not?
Well, sure. They breed these dogs on site. They're facilities in Connecticut, and so they raise the dogs themselves. They find families to care for them for the first year or so of life. And so they go through a normal puppyhood, but they're trained a certain way. So the people who raise them are taught to train them a certain way, to discipline them to a degree, but to foster that training. And then they go through rigorous training sessions after that. So I don't have the specific dates that they do the specific activities, but it is a long process, and it's an expensive one. Each one of these dogs they're into for about $45,000 or so. And it's well worth it. You can see
absolutely.
that it makes a huge difference in blind people's lives.
Now, we talked about German Shepherds in the package, and we were just mentioning this, you know, you mentioned something about German Shepherds that I wasn't aware of that makes them, you know, very good for this task.
They're very aware, they're cautious. Some people might say even timid. They can be quite alert at all times, and that's why they're so good at this, because they're always on the lookout for some potential danger or threat to their person.
Okay, and Fidelco, how do we get a hold of them if we want to do that?
The number's on the screen. You can get through to them by phone. They have an email address, and you can get to them through NECN as well.
Very good. Thank you, Jake. Appreciate it. Great stuff. Thank you so much. All right, let's send it over to Bridget.